And now let's jump into a little Q&A. I'll answer all your burning questions, the best of my abilities, and we go from there. Let's go. Comments. I only trust the CIA, the NSA, the ATF, and the DEA. Sounds legit. Those guys never lie. Beardy, I saw your post about your friend from, I think it was Nigeria. Looks very nice. Bobby Shouts, is Robbie the only YouTuber with watch right now? Thanks, Bobby. I appreciate it. I don't think that's true, but I will take it. There's a lot of good people out there. And yeah, you can find links and all that stuff. But also, if you want to get your mind right, there's one link that I recommend. It's called the Daily Stoic. If you're looking for a way just to, and it's free, it's 100% free. It's a website. You sign up for a newsletter and they send it to you. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but it's Ryan Holiday's company, and it's really good stuff. It just kind of puts your mind in the right frame to be able to take those hits, to actually just have things just brush off you and just move forward. I think that's the big thing we need right now, especially in this bear market. In the bull market, nobody cares about that stuff because to the moon and Shiba and Dogecoin and whatever. But right now, I think people would really use that. Links in the description, Daily Stoic. I think it's dailystoic.com. So the pool man says, what do you think about the advanced trade in Coinbase? So I know that Coinbase Pro is supposed to be going away. I believe it's in December. So there might be they're reshuffling things. So I don't know about the advanced trade and how that's going to work. More information will come out. There is another option for Coinbase, which is Coinbase One, I think it's called, where you pay $30 per month, and it waives all the transaction fees up to $10,000, which is pretty good if you dollar cost average like me every day. However, some people have still said that's not good enough, and they take a look at the spreads between the cost of like a Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they still play a little bit funny, and you're paying a little bit more. So it's kind of like when you go to the car dealership, right? You go to the car dealership, and you're like, hey, I'd like this vehicle. Sure, how much you want to pay? $30,000. Okay, $30,000. Well, great. And then you want to finance it? No, I don't. Okay, well, now it's $32,000. And they just go back and forth. And hey, you want some upgrades here and some upgrades there? Before you know it, they nickel and dime you to death. That's just what it is. So I get tired, and I'm just like, I don't care. Just if I go up 10, 20, 50x in another couple of years because I'm just dollar cost averaging, I'll be okay. The guy with the least worries is the winner at the end of the day. Remember that. Ooh, look at that. I followed Daily Stoic on Spotify. Very nice. You got to be kidding me. Never gets old. Never gets old. How do we ask questions? You just asked a question. Can't find a super chat option. I think I turned it off. I just felt like people shouldn't be paying for super chats when they can just ask me right here. Just spend it on investments. Spend it on me. I'm doing just fine. I got a really nice green screen on my mom's basement, which looks like a pool house. So that's pretty cool. Beardy says, leave the dad jokes to the professionals. Rusty says, Coinbase advances live now. Great. You know what? Then I will ask you guys for a favor then. So go through Coinbase Advance. I need you guys to compare the spread between the usual suspects as far as cryptos, and tell me if there's a huge, massive difference between the spread of, like, say, a Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever. And if you could do me a favor, just post that on Twitter and then tweet at me, @newsasset. There's also a link in the description for that. Lat says, hey, Rob, Theta's doing great things. What do you think will happen when there's the MetaChain release in Q4? Look, I had Digital Dave on a couple weeks ago, and he's big on Theta drop. And he was also big on, now me and Dave have had our bad calls. Let's just be honest, right? I had the horrible, crappy VGX call, and he had the horrible, crappy call on Bitcoin Cash. However, on Theta, he's been 100% correct. On Theta, did phenomenally well. And then for T-Fuel, he did great. And he said his next one he thinks that's going to do really well is Theta Drop, which is like the governance token for all the NFTs and things like that. So I think that'll do well. Theta, I still hold some Theta. I sold some off, I think about 60%. I still own Theta in my Theta wallet. So yeah, I think it'd do well. When will it? I don't know. I can't tell you when. Don't make me poorer, Beardy, by sending me EOS. Just kidding. I know Beardy loves EOS for some reason. I bought into EOS. I still have some hanging around somewhere in some wallet. Matt, thank you. 3D green. Yes, it's very tough. It's an advanced thing. You get them in very few places. I happen to have one. Yeah, Dustin's got a good question. FTX or Coinbase Pro? I use Coinbase. I don't use Coinbase Pro, and I use FTX. The one thing I don't like about FTX is the ACH. So usually what's really great is that you can take your bank account and you can link it up, and it can just do automatic clearinghouse deposits, and then you can do it. You can do that, but you have to kind of wait a little bit of a time for FTX. I just kind of like it where I can just send it. It's there. If I want to make a decision, it's there. But even with FTX, it doesn't really matter because I just put an X amount per week, and I dollar cost average. Over there I buy Near Protocol and a couple other things. But I'm not buying as much alts as I used to. I'm not putting as much money as I used to. Like in 2018, I put a lot. Now I'm a little more conservative because I just don't know. I still dollar cost average, but I just don't know if the next big downturn is coming. So I'm just waiting for 2023 to really ramp things up. But if I'm right, I mean, I still put money in 2025. I still think it's going to be a bull run. So if I have to, ramp up in 2023 as the price starts to go down, that's okay. I'm okay with that. Bullish on the beard. Thanks. Rob's rocking Michael. So Rob just got lazy. Didn't want to. No, it looks okay. Kablam's got a great question. What price do you see sweat reaching in the long run? Answer, no idea. Every time I do price predictions, people crush me, but I got to tell you, I think it's going to do quite well. And I know on this channel, remember, on this channel, not financial advice, but I've been talking about Sweatcoin for a long time. There is a link in the description. Let me show you. There's a link in the description. Looks like this. And you can download Sweatcoin. It's free. It's 100% free. Did I tell you it's free? It's free. And you get the sweat token just for walking. Like, I think it's for every 1,000 steps you make one sweat token. If you don't want to use that, there's another one called Smiles app where you can earn Satoshis just for walking around. I happen to use both because I'm greedy and I also walk. So I do those things. And then there's this other thing down here. It says 5% degen plays right there. That'll link you over to this because I got a second channel called Dan Degen. And if you don't know, these projects, like, they don't pay me. I pay them. And I pay a good amount to get into these projects. But because I pay into them, I want them to do well. Do you understand I'm biased? You guys know that, right? I'm super biased. I only talk about the things that I invest into. Do you ever hear me talk about Shiba Inu or Dogecoin? Because I don't invest into those things. So why would I talk about them? I'm just super biased. It's just the truth. So with Sweatcoin, people are like, how much they pay you, Rob? They didn't pay me anything. Actually, I bought $1.7 million of the tokens in an early sale. And going from there, I paid a penny and a half or something like that. And that's it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, that's fortunate. I'm in a lockup period because I got on the early sale. So I can't sell those. Like when it drops on September 12th, I can't sell anything until 12 months later. And even 12 months later, it still trickles out over the next 24 months. So like, I know some people say, what's the difference between that and VCs? I'm like, well, I have a huge lockup period and I don't get the whole thing at once. And I super believe in it. And I'm probably going to have it for a while. So in the old days, 2017, they would just give you, apparently, I was around 2017, but I wasn't on YouTube. But apparently they would give you a bunch of tokens. Here's the tokens, talk about my company, and then you can dump on your audience. And that's the wrong way to do it, right? If you're going to do it, at least get into it and you have skin in the game. And then when you talk about it, it sounds genuine and serious. That's it. So to answer your question, what I think it'll go to? Initially, it'll probably do pretty well. And it really depends on execution and where the revenue comes from. And you just watch the deep dive video, which you can find in the description. And I explain all those things. All right. Ooh, this is a good one. Jay Jung Chao. Isn't that scary? Because if USA defaults on loan because of government high spending and high interest rates, wouldn't the central stablecoins become insolvent, and thus our stablecoins will lose peg next USD? That's true if the US defaults on their loan. Has the US defaulted any loans recently? Not recently. I mean, when was the last time have they ever? I'm not for sure. Other countries have. You can take a look at Turkey. Who was the big one that just had the big collapse? But when people start to default in the loans, that's when the IMF steps in. I don't think we're going to be there yet. But it's a good point. Hey. Never. No, you're right on time. Will Smith of the ACH. Yeah, so the ACH is 12 days, way too long. So and he's talking about, Will, I think you're talking about FTX for automated clearing houses for that. But you have to remember, I think it's a safer way to do things, right? Because guess what? Not everybody's like me and Will here. Like we try to do the honest thing. We sign up and it debits our account for our bank. The money goes in and then, we trade. Now, some people will be very slick and they'll say, yeah, connect my bank account. They'll say, yeah, it is. And of course, for ACH clearing, it doesn't happen automatically. It could take 3 to 5 business days. And during that time, you might be able to buy crypto and then take it off the exchange and then contact your bank and go, that's fraud. That's a fraud charge. I don't know what that is. Reverse that. And they'll fight with the bank and they'll reverse it. And now who gets screwed over? Well, the exchange gets screwed over and then we all get screwed over because they have to implement more security. So I get it. Rob, have you had any Masterworks art that's sold? So right now, they did an appraisal. It's a great question. And the appraisal, where'd it go? So Masterworks, fractionalized shares of art. That is all registered with the SEC, so nobody flip out. I have a Basquiat and a Banksy, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what the heck those were, except for I knew what a Banksy was. I didn't know what a Basquiat was. I had no idea before I got into it. And they're just shares. And then for this one, valued at, I'm up 40% since I bought it in October 13th, 2021, which is not bad. I don't think so. And then they've sold these so far. They had a Banksy, they sold for 32% annualized returns. 31 for Condo, I don't know what that is. Olin, sure. Brown, yeah, whatever. Like obviously you can tell I'm not very refined in art, but I don't care because I just care about this. Performance. Masterworks is outperforming Russell, NASDAQ, S&P 500, and crypto. And that's why I'm usually talking about this, portfolio balance. You have to balance risk a little bit just by spreading things around. And that's what I try to do. But don't do what I do. I'm not a financial advisor. This is what I spread it around: cash, stable coins, degen plays, stocks, Masterworks, land, property, my Amazon business, staking, I Trust Capital. And it's pretty diverse because when one goes up, I want the other. When one goes down, I want the other one to go up. That's my idea. I just don't want to be stuck going, wow, I put everything into Luna because it was doing so well. I didn't sell anything, and now I just lost my everything. So I don't want to do that. Just trying to be a little risk aversive. As you get older, these are things that are important. When you're young, you don't care. Like, who cares? Mark, it's a great question. Mark says, Dan, after the Celsius debacle, what's your opinion on Binance lending with Bitcoin as collateral? I don't trust anything anymore. I'm just on the cold wallet ideal and just going from there. And you got to remember, I remember that I did a lending through Celsius. Remember that? I thought, well, I'll just collateralize my Ethereum and I'll lend that out to Celsius, and then that'll help me pay for the house in Puerto Rico. Everything was good. But then, as the margin calls would come up, I would, meet those, and I would put in more Ethereum. Then when I was in Europe for a bit, there was a big dip. This was in April. This was around when Luna collapsed. Remember that? or was collapsing at Three Arrows Capital. And I missed a couple of margin calls because I was in between France and Spain, and we're moving, and I don't know. I missed some, and they just liquidated me, all of it. And I was like, well, that sucks, kinda, but not really, because what I didn't do, I thought this was silly. Some people will say, Rob, what you got to do is you got to collateralize your crypto to buy more crypto. I'm like, well, what if all the crypto goes down? It won't ever go down, you moron. It'll just keep going up forever. Don't you know that? I'm like, well, I've been in since 2017. I don't think it's going to happen. So what I did was I took the money that they gave me for the loan, I put that and paid off the house free and clear. And that was it. So the money that I had wasn't in crypto. It was in a house. The house is now on Airbnb, and it's an asset. And I did, so they liquidated me when I think Ethereum went down to 2,200. That was my liquidation cost. So I'm still up, but just remember that if you get liquidated, it's a taxable event. If you do a loan, if you do a loan like what Mark is talking about against your crypto, that's not a taxable event. However, you have to, again, it's about risk. So, in this situation, could Binance falter? Like that, the chart that we just took a look at, Binance is a juggernaut. But guess what? So was Celsius, and so was Voyager, and so was Luna. They were all juggernauts. So just be careful. I'm not going to do it personally, and that's my final stance. Yes, motion capture suit. Hello, Eris. Thank you. Yeah, it's tough to make a joke out of EOS. They did that themselves. Just kidding, Beardy. Just kidding. Sheba says, yeah, I'm feeling better on some supplements and things like that. You get older, you guys are taking supplements and things. Just have to be it. But as time goes on, I'm going to get into the TRT. That'll be the good stuff. The injections, not that cream wimpy. Let's see. That's a good question. Orlando says, Rob, do you recommend connecting your Ledger wallet to Daedalus and staking ADA from there, or create a new Daedalus wallet, not linked to a hardware wallet for staking? Just remember that anything that you do as far as like a Daedalus wallet or any kind of wallet like that, it is a form of a hot wallet, because there is an internet connection and you put in your password. Like I have my Daedalus wallet right here, actually. I can see it. And the best way to do things is always through cold storage. Just remember that. Cold storage is probably the best way that you can do things, and go from there. Now, even saying that, remember Ledger did have a hack. It wasn't a hack. It was a data breach where like the people that bought the Ledger wallet, people got their home information, their phone numbers, their names and emails, but they never got a hold of your crypto. So, I mean, that's going to happen regardless of everything. I mean, I don't know how many of you ever take a look at a website called Have I Been Pwned or something like that. It'll everybody's email's on there. Just how it is. Thanks for the financial advice. Good one, Beardy. Rob using bots to ask sweat question. That would be pretty good. That's not a bad idea, actually. I mean, look, I want Sweat to do well, but not at the cost of like someone saying, hey, Rob uses a bunch of bots or something like that. I think it'll do well regardless. I mean, looks to be pretty well. I mean, think of it this way. Like when you guys came on YouTube, did you have to watch an ad? Unless you had YouTube Premium. Yeah, you did. So it's the same thing with Sweatcoin over on the app. It's like the number, depending on what date it is, number 1 through 5, it's the most downloaded health and fitness app in the globe. And that's what they do. They sell ad space. So what's different than that and Twitter and Facebook and everything else? Do you really think Bitcoin Cash is a loser? I don't think the people that invest in Bitcoin Cash are losers. I think Bitcoin Cash isn't doing that great as far as price appreciation. And that's it. I like the fact of that Bitcoin Cash should do pretty well for transactions, but I think, Lightning's got that. And I don't see a point for Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash people will tell me what a moron I am. That's probably not untrue, but that's, I just don't see the point. Oh, I got that one. Danny's got a good question. Rob, just to mentally prepare, what kind of a haircut do you think we're going to take on Voyager? Let's say 70%. I'm okay with 70%. I'm thinking like this. Like, I think between Voyager and Celsius, Voyager is going to come out of Chapter 11 first. I think they have the offers and the backers, and there wasn't some gross mismanagement that, there was a special advisor that was appointed to the Celsius case because of gross mismanagement, and that's not good. So I think Voyager is going to probably be the one to come out, and by the end of this month, August 2022, we're going to figure out who is the winning bidder for Voyager, and that'll be interesting. I think if they want that to go on, they have to make everybody whole or close to whole, or they have to have a secondary objective, which would be to, look, we can't make you whole right now, but we can give you this type of token or security or something like that, which is registered with the SEC. And you can hold on to this and redeem it at a later date as we start to pick up business, which I think would be a pretty good idea for me moving into 2024, 2023, 4, and 5. I can hold on to things for 3-4 years. I've already done it before. Why couldn't I do it again? Master Blaster says, thoughts on the Cardano testnet issue. We talked about this 2 days ago. And I said, isn't that, to me, I thought, well, isn't that what the testnet's for, to find all the screw-ups? And they did that. So, look, kudos to them for not putting that on the mainnet and being diligent. Sometimes the grown-ups have to be the adults and say, hey, we got to slow down. And that's what happened. I'm happy for that. Beardy saw us. FTX is instant deposit once I use it a bit for me. Ben, maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just haven't had enough transaction volume. I need to stick with it. That's a good one. So Joseph says, hey, Rob, do you think Jackson Hole is now priced in, or will there be a major swings on Friday? This is Jerome Powell is going to speak, I believe, and they're going to talk about the things they're going to do because there's no meeting here in August, so they're going to Jackson Hole. Good for them. Do I think it's priced in? Me personally, everybody says it's priced in. I never really believe it's totally priced in. I think there's always like little dips and things like that, and you just can kind of catch those. I will say this. We talked about this at length before, because remember, with before Powell, Fed chairman, back in the 80s, we talked about Volcker. And before Volcker was a gentleman by the name of Burns. And the problem with the United States at that point is that, remember, inflation was hitting their highs, 5, 6, 7%. And people would always say, well, Burns didn't do anything. He did. He raised the interest rates. The problem was he raised and he thought it was taken care of because they were using outdated data, just like what they're doing right now. And he stopped raising the rates. And that's when they lost faith in him and go, you should have kept on to it. Now we got to bring in this pit bull named Volcker. And Volcker came in and said, we're going to raise this to the moon. I don't care. 14% interest rates. We got to take care of these inflation rates, because if they go out of control, then we go from a recession to a depression, and not on my watch. That's what he did, and it sucked for a couple of years. And they have attributed to the avoidance of a depression because of Volcker and his watchdog ways of raising the interest rates. Burns, it's not that he didn't do it, just like Powell. It's that he didn't do it enough and consistently. And I think Powell is enough of a student of the game to understand that. I think he'll keep raising rates just to make sure. Remember, it's your legacy, right? Hey, Marky, thank you. Yowzer says, I was busy getting married. Probably more important before 2017. Vasel's got a good point. FTX seems very shady to me. They had something to do with Voyager and Celsius. Now they have larger revenue compared to Coinbase. There's a secret. Everybody's shady. Everybody's a little bit shady. A little bit shady. Then there's big shady and medium shady. So if FTX has a couple of shady things, in the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, the people that win the wars will write the history. And if FTX comes out of this, which I think they're going to write all the history and talk about how great they are and how they did these things, and that's just how it's going to be. I'm just a realist, unfortunately. You can buy my art. Yeah, Mark. Oh yeah, we talked about this. I'm not going to borrow my crypto. I think if you want to do it, a safer option is wait till, I mean, we're pretty low. If I could say one thing, if you need to totally borrow, like this is what a lot of the affluent and wealthy do, is it's called buy, borrow, die. And they buy assets, they borrow against those assets because it's not a taxable event, and they die and they leave these assets to their children within their wills and their trustees and their estates. So if you want to just take a hint from the super rich people, that's what they do. Now, if you want to borrow against it, again, not financial advice, but if I'm going to do it again, which I'm not, but if I was going to do it, I would probably do it around here in a bear market, not in a bull market. Because in a bull market, as things go up, you're like, hey, you got to meet your collateral. Oh yeah, well, you got to keep adding. You got to keep adding. You got to add 2x, 3x, 10x as it keeps going down. So if I was going to do it, I'd probably do it here, but I'm not going to do it here. Mr. T says the rainbow chart and 4-year cycles. That's true. I don't know if you guys ever seen the rainbow charts. Very easy to use. It'll tell you when a fire sale is and when's a good sale. And you can find all those charts at lookintobitcoin.com. No affiliation with those guys, but I link in the description because it's free to use and it's awesome. Bedbug Gaming says, get Midjourney, make your own Basquiats. I had Midjourney. And Midjourney, if you don't know, it's on Discord, and you pay about $10 a month, and it uses AI. You can put in different phrases, and it will create these different pieces of art. I've used it, works very well. But there's another one that you don't have to pay anything for. And that one is called, what the heck is it called? Let me figure it out. I did a tweet on this at one point. I forget what it's called. AI. No, that's not it. AI sites. Auto draw? Yeah, I guess that's it. Name licks. Oh, this isn't it. Name licks. I'll find it later. But yeah, there's another one that's free that you can do all those things. It's pretty cool. What's this? Do I need to have identification to pull my Bitcoin out of Forex? Am I getting ripped off, please? Here's what I say. If someone contacted you and said, we need your identification so you can take out your Bitcoin, Forex, this doesn't sound right personally. Whatever company that you're using for this, contact that company directly and say, hey, I got this email and they're wanting me for my identification. Is that true? And how can I take my money off? Yes, thank you, Wrenches. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you can do lending with collateral on DeFi. That's true. And yeah, you have to remember, look at the ones that failed us moving forward. Like which companies failed us? Well, it was decentralized. It was a centralized exchange, a centralized lending platforms, the centralized players. But you know what didn't fail us? Besides these stupid hacks from the bridges, if you take a look at Aave and Compound, those types of things, like did they fail us per se? I think they did a pretty great job during all these downturns. Not to say that they're perfect, but they did a heck of a lot better than losing everybody everything, except for those damn tunnels. Rob, your Everdome video on 5% digital doesn't work. Oh no. Let's see. Everdome. Oh yeah, it doesn't. I'll fix that. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. Any update on Ledger staking use Alchemy? Nope. This is the luckiest person I've ever met. I escaped Luna, UST, and Celsius right before the crash. Thank God, it's unbelievable. You should go buy a lottery ticket today. Wow. Gary says, how's the DHEA? I've been dosing in the morning, and by mid-afternoon, I'm rage holler at somebody. It's working better for you than me. I'm just keeping my levels at pretty decent states. Kyle's got a fake background. Green screen. That's okay. But you made it. PRP. I've done PRP. And I will let everybody know I'm also going to do stem cells in Honduras. So I'll let everybody know about that. And why Honduras? It's the same place that if you do a Joe Rogan podcast search, it was Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson. And they talked about their stem cell journey to Honduras and how it worked out. Pretty interesting. Yowzer says, I downloaded Deadlist on my laptop. It's huge, 650 megabyte file size. Yes, that's the bummer. But you know what? That's the only one I trust. I know some people will say, well, you got Nami and you got Yoroi and Ada Light. I don't like Yoroi at all. Ada Light, I'm okay with that. YouTube Premium is a must. Yes. You pay $30 I do. See, here's the thing. Like, I'm of short time on this planet. I don't want to waste it even 10 seconds watching some stupid ad I don't really care about. So what I'll do is I pay for all the premium services. I don't have to pay for those, or I don't have to watch them. I mean, I can make more money. I just can't make more time. Whatever happened? What happened to Ehrlich on the next project? I don't know what happened to Steve. I don't know. But it's got to suck, man. Because Steve didn't strike me as that guy that would want to screw over everybody. And this is just my thoughts. I just don't think he was that guy because he already made a ton of money in E-Trade and Lightspeed. So when he started up this third one, I'm like, this will do pretty well. I just think things got away from it. And we did a pretty long, about a 30-minute video. It was about 3 Arrows Capital. If you just type in Digital Asset News, 3 Arrows Capital, you'll find it. And I just went over, how those guys pretty much fooled everybody. And I understand now why they didn't do the collateralization, because 3 Arrows Capital was like, we're not going to give you collateral. We have all these other, this is all the money that we have. We have plenty to pay you off, but we'll give you a very high yield because we've been doing this for years. Unfortunately, it was a Ponzi. And I'm not making excuses, but I get it. But when I think about Steve, I'm just like, it's got to be crushing, Again, maybe it's me thinking of how I am, but it's crushing to think that these things can happen. And but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. My girl's having a 4-year cycle. Do you think anybody who's going from Celsius is going to jail? White collar crime is. Let me ask you this: how many bankers went to jail in 2008 for the financial collapse? I think 1. So don't hold your breath. What else? Yeah, that's right. Give myself some updots. That's. Marie says, should I invest in crypto now as we were speaking? I can't tell you what to invest into. I can just tell you that my dollar cost average buys, they trigger in another couple hours. So that's just what I'm doing. Eric Zulu, have you looked at iTrust Capital, staking DOT? Yes, I'm supposed to be part of that first rollout. So if you don't know, iTrust Capital, I think it's always above my head. It's a Roth IRA, and you can now stake. So what's great about Roth IRAs, just like Peter Thiel, has he made $5 billion by sticking everything in a Roth IRA. How did he do it? Well, he took all his shares from PayPal back in the early 90s, stuck them in a Roth IRA because they weren't worth anything at that point. Of course, they appreciated vastly, and now it's $5 billion. And you know how much he's going to pay in taxes, capital gains taxes, when he takes those out at 59 and a half years old? 0%. That's what a Roth IRA can give you. Now, for wouldn't be great, because with iTrust, I get to buy like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, and all those different things. And I get to stick them in there. And when I take them out at 59 and a half, which is not far away, I might add, for me, they're tax-free. because it's a Roth IRA. And what would be great about that is like the Polkadot I have, I'm going to be able to stake the Polkadot within the Roth IRA. The rewards that I get are also going to be tax-free. So if you want to find out more about that, link in the description. So I am going through that process right now, and I'll be staking it. I know you're investing in Everdome. Yes. You think it will recover? Sure. Why not? But remember this, there's this thing that I'm always talking about, these rules. It's all gone. Everything's a scam. Don't leave any on exchanges. And don't use leverage and take profits. Those take profits part, I take profits. So like with Sweatcoin, for example, like after a year or so of having all my money tied up, I'll probably take some profits. With Everdome, of course, it was another year-long lockup thing. Well, not initially. Initially, I think they gave 10%, and then it rolls out over 12 and 24 months. I would take in profits as they come out. So I've already taken some profits out, but the rest of it's just stuck there. Do I think it'll recover? Yeah, and I think it's a pretty good project. And I talk about why when I get the right link on there. I'll show you. But if you just do Digital Asset News Everdome or Dan Degen Everdome, you'll find it. Thank God someone tells me when I screw up. Do you own any Everdome land? No, I didn't get into the land. I got into just the Dome token. I missed the other part. Yeah. Bobby Shouts, bookmark Daily Stoic. Thanks. I'm telling you guys, it's a great resource. And those daily emails, fantastic. Wrench today, maybe later. Robert. Panama, not Honduras. Thank you, Robert. Panama. I thought it was Honduras when I said it was kind of wrong. Panama. Can you bring your attention to Harmony One? I could. Theon and Oni. Better DCA when Bitcoin is at 12K. That's true. If it ever gets there. Some people think it's going to 12K. Some people think it's going to 8K. And some people think it's going all the way down to 5K. And that's it. I don't know. JF says, a cycle in crypto would seem 4 years, 2013. I guess this would be for Bitcoin. 1,100, 2017, 19.6, 2021, 69K, 2025. Who knows? I thought for sure it was going to 150K, and look how wrong I was. So. I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? And Bobby says, any concerns that I trust will be beat down. I have a hard time trusting. I have a real hard time trusting too. And if we looked at what happened with Voyager and Celsius, so where do they make their money? Well, Voyager, if they just would have kept doing what they were doing, they were doing just fine. They just got ahead of themselves. Voyager made it on transaction fees. It was like the hotels.com. So they would use the different exchanges, and they were a brokerage and go, okay, Coinbase, FTX, Binance, blah, 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 Bybit. Who has the best price for Bitcoin? Rob wants to buy a Bitcoin. Oh, FTX, you do? Great. So how much is it? 19,600, whatever. Okay, you get it. And the spread, the difference between all these ones, we're going to keep a percentage of that, and that'll be our fee. Very simple, very easy to do. Then they got into yield, and they were looking into going into loans, and thank God they didn't do that. And then with Celsius, that one was. And I had Alex on my show multiple times. He said, "Here's how we generate yield. We're going to take the cryptos that you put into our platform. We're going to be able to loan them out to, and of course we do all our due diligence and all our safety and blah blah blah. And people, they collateralize those loans, and we give them to them, and then they use them. And okay. Unfortunately, it just got away from them. So all those two guys, that was the way they make money, and they just went off it. Now, so we have to take a look at it with iTrust Capital. Well, how do they make their money? It's very simple. There's no loans. There's no yield generation. The most risky thing to do is staking now, and that's just one on Polkadot. Where they make it is 1% trading fees. That's it. 1% trading fee. Oh, there's a startup fee, I think, a couple $100, I think. And that's all. So that, I mean, and then of course, when people say, well, what about the security? Well, they use the same custodians that MicroStrategy does, which is Coinbase. Coinbase. Seems to work out okay. So that was a long answer to a very short question. And that's it. All right. So guys, look, we're coming up an hour, and that's all I got for today. I got to do a couple of meetings right now, and then go do some other stuff. But thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I mean, you hung with me for an hour. That's a long time. Thank you. So if you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. And I will see you on the show tomorrow, roughly the same time. All right. Adios. Bye.